What's up, guys? I'll be live over on Twitch tonight, grabbing some gameplays that you'll likely be seeing here in the upcoming videos. But if you want to come hang out, chat, and maybe chill, the link's in the description below. Anyways, though, back to the regular content. Surprisingly, it's now Monday, and we haven't heard anything official in terms of the Season 4 announcement confirmation, in terms of a date for its launch in Modern Warfare and Warzone. But today, we're going to be discussing what we should be looking out for in the week ahead for Call of Duty, if that includes a launch of the new season, anything that could be coming along, and then, of course, a few things you want to make sure you finish up again, and maybe a surprise or two. But that said, as we go along, let me know your thoughts down below out of Season 4. What are you guys excited to see the most, or perhaps maybe not excited for? Whatever it is, let me know your thoughts down below. And as well, if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with all things Modern Warfare and Warzone on a daily basis. You'll definitely want to stick it here, especially with the launch potentially on the horizon in the next couple of days. There's going to be a lot to talk about. But firstly, let's talk about that date of Season 4. Like we said, there is nothing officially confirmed, but we do have a few indicators that could actually provide some insight here into when we should be expecting it. Firstly, of course, we talked about the other day that week delay is in line with previous marketing shifts in what we've seen in Call of Duty, and even in Modern Warfare as of recently. Season 1 had an extension of 1 week back in February, and though delays like this aren't necessarily common in the Call of Duty and Activision world of things, that stable constant of a week is something that we've seen before, and likely could be something that we see again here with this. Though interestingly enough, though, right after we talked about that, there was more information dug up where actually in the game files, the code for in-game challenges was dug up, in which it had an end date of June 10th, which is 1 week after that proposed initial launch of Modern Warfare Season 4, but of course with that delay, it matches up once again. Also, as of today, we learned that on the Sony side of things, if this was something that may have been connected with a Sony decision that then may have affected relations with Activision's partnership, if that was one of the reasons like people speculated because they were falling in line with Sony, we actually got the confirmation today that Sony's PlayStation 5 event would actually be on the 11th at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So again, with that, 1 week of a delay shift again, falling again into that pattern of, well, here we might just see 1 week later. And another interesting piece of the puzzle here is that there were new cameo selections from Captain Price. Cameo being something where you can pay someone famous to do a video message, and the proceeds of that mostly goes to different charities of the famous person's choice. We saw that last week Activision sent out a couple of these to different creators, myself included. That was one of the coolest things of a surprise to get in my email, a personalized message from Captain Price himself. But there was another round here after promoting Season 4 initially. The Captain Price voice actor Barry Sloan indicated that Price would be dropping into Verdansk in a few days, also lending again some credibility to that theory. So when would we end up seeing this? I'm kind of full on that train of the 10th, or rather the 9th leading into the 10th. So tomorrow night is something that you may want to be around for, at least have your game available to download the update so that you get the beef of it all out of the way, and you can jump into Season 4 content as soon as possible after that. But that would mean a 1 week full shift, meaning that again, tomorrow we'll likely learn more about what's on deck for Season 4, because it's still been relatively mum's the word. Whether that be a blog post, a trailer, maybe both, or something else entirely, tomorrow's going to be one of the bigger days more than likely out of the last couple of weeks. But assuming that tomorrow then is that air quote reveal, then what does that mean then for the actual update coming later that night? What can we expect? Of course, we know that bigger stuff like the Galil, the Vector, Price, Gaz later on down in the season, Scrapyard, and a couple of other maps that we may be anticipating. But on top of seeing what will likely then be a full roadmap and the major content pieces out of this, we'll of course have our normal stuff that comes along with every single season. A new battle pass, new officer challenges, a new shop refresh in bulk, new Warzone pieces of the puzzle, or maybe even new content in general, some technical and back-end changes, but that stuff we won't know the exact specifics until the patch notes come out, likely tomorrow evening, right before the update goes live, and then of course when we get our hands on and jump into everything overall. For the battle pass though, I'm actually kind of excited to see where this may go. Of course, we have that likely scenario where Price is the battle pass character, so once you gain access to him by getting the premium battle pass, you of course get Price to use right out of the gate. Doesn't matter if you're tier 1, doesn't matter if you do the bundle, doesn't matter if you wait until halfway through the season to finally then buy the battle pass. But that's one operator that I'm incredibly excited for. There aren't many operators that really I'm just like, I really want to use this. Ghost was one of those. Alex for a little bit of time was also. Nikto still one of my favorites, but Captain Price, you bet your bottom dollar I'm going to be playing as Price. Other than that, there's been a few data mined pieces here of stuff that we could end up seeing within the battle pass, and right now it looks like there may actually be another classic price skin at the tier 100 battle pass, similar to how there was that Ghost Contingency bundle pack where it was classic Ghost, and also there was that UDT Ghost skin with Modern Warfare 2 campaign remastered. But it looks like we'll be seeing the classic bucket hat price returning at some point, and possibly even in that battle pass based off of stuff in the files as of right now. Hopefully it is in the battle pass. I would much rather prefer that as opposed to it being an actual bundle. Maybe that's just me, but I'm hoping we at least also get some cool blueprints for some weapons that many players tend to use. A lot of the ones that I see in the shop that are really cool, I'm just like, that's awesome, but I don't use the SA-87. So hopefully we see some things that are pretty cool in that regard. We mentioned that the shop update will be refreshed in bulk, and that more so means that we're going to have a lot of things introduced in one larger update. The store, if you don't pay attention to it, has multiple rows of different categorized items: featured operator stuff that is more so cosmetic for your operator, and then blueprints for your weapons, and then a just for you section, which the just for you section is usually repeat items, and then the featured through the blueprints are all newer stuff, but they're all kind of lumped in one update so that there's stuff on retainer. Because if you buy one item, it will then refresh with a newer bundle you don't have, so that unless you end up buying literally everything, there'll always be something in that storefront for you to take advantage of if you want to. It'll be there if you want to take advantage of that offer. So with a new season, we'll likely see a large bulk of new items introduced, and we'll be able to see these through the COD tracker database, which is pretty cool, but you also may be seeing some cool new stuff in the shop also. As for Warzone, that's one part that I really hope that we just see something with the map. I'd love to see a map update of some kind, being that we're now 3 months into the game and we haven't seen really any sort of change here, minus the fact that bunkers now open. We see some goat trails that make scaling geo a little bit easier, but I'd like to see a new POI. I'd like to see something happen. Maybe that live event would be pretty cool. I also wouldn't be surprised if we see some technical changes, one of which that's been on the forefront of everybody's mind, likely if you play Warzone, if you play MP, is potentially a Growl nerf. The Growl is by and far probably the most meta weapon in both of those scenarios, but it is something that, while it's insane, is it a little too insane? Is it good, or is it too good? You know what I mean? So that might be something that gets touched here with this update. We of course have those new mastery calling cards coming at some points as well, with likely being season 4 that main candidate here for it. So you can look out for that in the update once it does come. But what you want to do in the meantime here in this week before tomorrow night, before Wednesday and the actual update, if it does come that day, is again, make sure to finish your officer challenges, finish your ranks up, finish your battle pass, so that what you have in season 3 isn't lost to the test of time, because you do have that extra little bit. But let's take a second away from season 4 here, because that is of course the biggest stuff that's going to be coming here in the week, more than likely. But what about some other stuff we can look forward to within this week of Call of Duty? I think that personally we maybe end up seeing another sort of double XP weekend to maybe celebrate the launch. We've had that a couple of times here in the past with Modern Warfare, so this upcoming Friday, perhaps we end up seeing something in the way of maybe another triple double event, something that allows you to rank up your weapons, but also your new officer rank, since you are restarting back at 55 with the brand new season here. Another thing that has happened in the past with other seasonal launches is that of a free-to-play weekend, since we of course saw that Warzone is free. They want to bring over some players to the full premium game, so they've been doing those every so often. I believe season 3 kicked off with one on the weekend following, so that could be something we end up seeing. Another thing that you may or may not care about all that much is potentially Twitch drops for those that watch streamers or that may be streamers yourself. You may end up having the ability to have drops enabled here. We saw that each of the last couple of seasons actually have had Twitch drops, but they usually fall between the first and the second week of the new season, so it's possible that if it doesn't happen this week, we may see something happen as of next week in terms of those Twitch drops. But the final big piece of the puzzle that I'm kind of curious to see if it does play out how people anticipate it to be is that of possible Call of Duty 2020 info. Like we talked about, this is now the latest that we have ever seen a reveal for Call of Duty, and especially if it is still scheduled to launch in October or in November, this is kind of uncharted territory. But the big now theory is that this could be something that comes along with the PlayStation 5 full reveal, where in this conference, potentially even on the 11th here, whenever they talk more about the PS5, maybe they'll showcase some game names and companies working with it at launch, to which maybe that then reveals fully Call of Duty 2020, and may even put the validation or put the rumor to rest that maybe this is actually something that will be the latest Call of Duty launch ever, as well as the latest reveal, where that time between reveal and launch is still technically the same, but it's just shifted back by a month or two. So perhaps with the new consoles launching in holiday of 2020, maybe that's something that we don't see a Call of Duty launch until then either. But of course, this week will likely provide more insight on at least the stuff we talked about here earlier in the video, potentially even though what we may see with 2020. But I think that's going to wrap it up. I think that's what we're going to call it. So hopefully you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts down below. But if you enjoyed the video, make sure you drop a like down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure you guys subscribe so you don't miss a single thing regarding all things Modern Warfare, updates, news, information, tips, tricks, all that good stuff. We got you covered here on the channel. So if any of that interests you, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a single thing. If you guys also want to follow me over on Twitter and Instagram, those are the best places to get connected from outside of YouTube. Probably live on both those. If you guys want to strike up a conversation, ask me a question, whatever it may be, that link is down there in the description below. But all that's out of the way, thank you guys all so much for watching. Minus Espresso. I'll see you guys later. Take care and peace.